Hey everyone, today we will do short quiz for CompTIA CySA Plus. What are the two types of insider threats? Intentional and unintentional. Intentional can be malicious insiders, stealing, sabotaging, and unintentional is like clicking in phishing emails, um, links from those emails, misconfigurations, and more. Which of the following is not a common indicator of compromise? Administrative account logins. The rest are indicators of compromise, like activity from different countries, locations, than expected, unexpected modifications, large outbound data transfer from administrative system, suspicious data. What drove the creation of ISAC in the United States? And ISAC stands for is here is for Information Sharing and Analysis Center. These are non-profit member-driven organizations where companies and agencies within the same industry share cybersecurity threat intelligence best practices. Um, Examples, please. Well-known ISAC financial services, MS multi-state, industry tribal and territorial government, health ISAC, hospitals, pharmaceutical, aviation, airplanes, shared cyber threat intelligence, auto ISAC, automotive. Is that one website for everything? Okay, ISAC. Threat information sharing for infrastructure owners. Okay. Organization like Anonymous, which target governments and businesses for political reasons, are examples of what type of threat actor? Activists, because they hack for political or social causes, not for profit, not for money. Nick wants to analyze attacker tactics and techniques. What tool he can deploy to capture actual attack data for analysis most effectively. A honeypot. Honeypot can lure attackers and record the real attack, right? Felix wants to gather data. No, wants to gather threat intelligence about an organized crime threat actor. Where is the most likely to find information published by the threat actor? The dark web, because criminals can share, sell, and share info about published by the threat actors about organized crime. Yeah, he can find there because criminals can share that on the dark web. What term describes an analysis of threat information that might include details such as whether it is confirmed by multiple independent sources or has been directly confirmed, confidence level, and why? I checked that before. The threat intelligence cycle. First is planning and direction. Decide what intelligence is needed. Phishing campaigns, ransomware indicators, questions. Are adversaries targeting our industry? Collection. Gather raw data from sources, logs, honeypots, example, IP addresses. Processing. Convert raw data into a usable format that duplicate, normalize, and structure, often using taxi. Example, parse logs to extract indicators of compromise analysis. Point number 4. This is where the confidence level comes in. Here, assign a confidence rating, low, medium, high. Single unverified report, medium, some corroboration, but not fully confirmed. And high, independently verified, multiple reliable sources. Dissemination, share the finished intelligence with stakeholders, with IR team, SOC team, tools, dashboards, reports, threat intel platforms. Feedback, stakeholders prove input. Did the intelligence help block or detect threats? This helps planning for better targeting. Confidence level fits trustworthiness or intelligence. It prevents alert fatigue by distinguishing solid confirmed intelligence from rumors or raw unverified data. Low confidence IP flagged only once by an unknown source. High confidence IP tied to ransomware. C to server confirmed by API threat intel vendor. Okay. Question number 8. Which of the following activities follows threat data analysis in the threat intelligence cycle? Threat intelligence dissemination. Follows threat data analysis. Follows threat data analysis. Okay, yes. First is planning and direction, then it's collection, then it's processing, analysis, dissemination, and feedback. Planning and direction, collection, processing, analysis, dissemination, and feedback. Again, planning and direction, collection, processing, analysis, dissemination, and feedback. Okay. Question number 9. How is threat intelligence sharing most frequently used for vulnerability management? As part of patch management processes to determine which patches are not installed. Okay. Which of the following threat actors typically has the greatest access to resources? Nation state actors, backed by government, more funding, tools, expertise than organized crime or hacktivists. That's the greatest access, right? Nation state actors. Advanced persistent threats are most commonly associated with which type of threat actor? Nation state actors. Advanced persistent threats are long term, well funded campaigns, usually backed by governments. Susan wants to start performing intelligence gathering. Which of the following options is frequently conducted in the requirements gathering stage? Review of security breaches or compromises your organization has faced. frequently conducted in the requirement gathering stage, review of security breaches, review of current vulnerability scans, review of threat intelligence feeds, gathering stage. Mm, Requirements gathering is figuring out what info do you need. Past breaches guide what you look for. Which of the following is not a common focus area for threat hunting activities? Policies. Misconfiguration, right. Business critical assets, right. Isolated networks, okay. So not policies. Because threat hunting focuses on technical things, not policies. Jason gathers threat intelligence that tells him that his organization considers a threat likes to use USB key traps to compromise their targets. What is this an example of? An example of adversary capability. Synchronization attack surface. It shows what the attacker can do. An example. Right, the capability. What organizations did the US government create to help share knowledge between organizations in specific verticals? ISAC, information sharing and analysis centers. Which of the following measures is not commonly used to assess threat intelligence? Detail. Timeline, accuracy, relevance. Hmm. Key measures, timelines, accuracy, relevance. Detail isn't a standard. That's new for me. Open indicators of compromise uses a base set of indicators of compromise originally created by Mandiant, part of a Google. And insider threats are threats from employees or other trusted individuals or groups within an organization. Forensic data is most often used for what type of threat assessment data? Indicator, indicators of compromise. And lastly, Nandita has encountered an attacker who appears to be using a commonly available exploit package to attack her organization. The package seems to have been run with default configurations against her entire public facing internet presence from a single system. What type of threat actor is she most likely facing? Appears to be using a commonly available exploit package to attack her organization. Script kiddie. Advanced persistent threat? No. Hacktivist? No. Nation state actor. Script kiddies use pre-made tools. Let's end the assignment and test and let's see. Two incorrect. How is threat intelligence sharing most frequently used for vulnerability management? As part of vulnerability feeds for scanning system. Mm. I want an explanation. Okay, here is the explanation actually. Threat intelligence feeds often provide information about what vulnerabilities are being actively exploited, as well as about new exploits. This can influence patching priorities and vulnerability management efforts. Zero-day threats aren't known until they are released. Vulnerability management efforts help to determine what patches aren't installed, but threat intelligence doesn't determine that. Threat intelligence isn't directly leveraged for quantitative risk assessment as part of vulnerability management efforts in typical organizations. Simply answer why. See. And another question that wasn't correct was 14. Jason gathers threat intelligence that tells him that an adversary his organization considers a threat likes to use USB key drops to compromise their targets. What is this an example of? A passable attack vector. So here it says, as a part of vulnerability feeds for scanning systems. Why? Threat intelligence sharing provides updated list of known vulnerabilities. Vulnerability scanners, Nessus, Qualys, OpenVAS rely on these feeds to check system against the latest threats. This is the most frequent use because organizations need scanners to automatically detect missing patches. Okay. And here, possible attack vector. An attack vector, the path or method an attacker uses to compromise a target. Okay. In this case, the method is USB key drops, leaving infected USB drives around, helping employees plug. Really, what was the question again? Mm-hmm. Okay, 18 correct out of 20. Thank you and see you tomorrow.